Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 12th of July, year of our Lord 2024. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Hinkle, aka Moton Noah. Got a big, ambitious, daring show for you guys today. This is what you tune into off-season content for, what we're going to be doing today. But before we get to all of that, there's some rumblings around Team USA that I kind of want to talk a little bit about. I don't have too much perspective because as invested as I am in Team USA basketball this year, and as much as I've talked about, like, wow, are you guys also kind of feeling a little patriotic for the Olympics this year just because they're actually trying? I actually still am not following it that much at all. I'm still not following it. I didn't know there was an exhibition game until 12 hours after it happened. I saw Dylan Brooks being all like LeBron had a dunk. Oh, shit. And I was like, that's cool. So Kawhi, I guess, was told that he can't participate. He has to go home. There's some version of events to this story. While most of the events I actually don't think we'll ever know. It sounds like I don't know. There's a lot of secrecy surrounding who told who to make a phone call that Kawhi maybe shouldn't participate. Because at any given moment, I feel like with Kawhi, you are at the risk of being told that he had some like weird surgery in a foreign country like a week earlier, and he'll be day to day for the next like 6 to 8 months. You're like, huh? And so he shows up to Team USA, and I remember that he was like coming off of a bus. I don't remember. He was walking into the gym, and there was a video, and people were like psychoanalyzing it, and they're like, oh man, like, is he walking kind of weird? And I was like, you guys are being fucking lame. He might have been, actually. He might have been. So his knee just doesn't work anymore. He dunked like once in Vegas and was like, whoops, I can't do this. And if you're Steve Ballmer, because some people have wondered if maybe it was Steve Ballmer that was behind this, because he's like, from his perspective, the Intuit Dome is about to open, the most expensive arena in the history of North American sports. That's about to open, and your other star, Paul George, he just left. You didn't get anything for him, by the way. He just kind of left. He's just gone. So people were wondering if Steve Ballmer was the one who was like, hey, Kawhi, you just can't do this. We need you. Well, but if Steve Ballmer really felt some type of way about that, he wouldn't have let Kawhi go at all. Like, he wouldn't have let him go at all. And then the other piece of all of this is that, okay, so his replacement ended up being Derek White. And everybody, I assumed in the moment that, it's probably going to be Jaylen Brown. My brain, I'm so stupid pilled that I wasn't thinking Derek White or Jaylen Brown. I was like, so Jalen Brunson is an Olympian? No, I guess not. Damn it. Maybe next time. But Joel Embiid gets to be an Olympian, which is something that's ruffled a lot of feathers. Maybe we'll get back to the Jaylen Brown thing. I'm doing something else already. Sorry. But Joel Embiid gets to be an Olympian. That's pissed a lot of people off. I didn't see what the details on the trade were for that. I don't know what we gave up to Cameroon, but it did kind of get the gears spinning for me a little bit on if you could do some sort of like an Olympian athlete for diplomat, maybe a pop culture figure or another athlete, who would you do? Well, let's start with diplomat. You're the United States, and you're like, we are really trying to juice this Olympics team this year. Basketball is no longer America's sport, and we're a little scared. We're assembling the Avengers, but we would like a few more. Who's out there? You'd have to give up. What would the United States had to have given up to get the rights to Giannis? What does Greece want? Did their economy ever stabilize? I know it was bad like forever. Do they need like a major stimulus package? I'm talking trillions. I'm like 34 for every number that Giannis wears on his. I don't know what number he wears for Greece. Probably 34 still. 34 trillion stimulus package, and we get Giannis for one Olympic cycle. Who takes that deal? Okay. So what would it have taken for? Well, in Cameroon, the region, I believe, within the last 12 months has been destabilized at the hands of separatist groups. I think over maybe Christmas time, the government and like some militant groups were like, bop, 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 bop. They're going back and forth. So is AOC equipped to stabilize the region? Maybe. Again, one Olympic cycle is what we get Joel Embiid for, so you get AOC for 4 years. You could do that. Or would you do, okay, you don't want to do the diplomat, you want to pop culture, or you want to like maybe sort of get people in Cameroon watching TV. You want Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey for Joel Embiid. 1 Olympic cycle, you get Steve Harvey for 4 years. You get Cameroonian family feud. Cameroonian feud? There's something in there. I mean, have fun with it. You have him for 4 years. You can do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want. Do we need to do another athlete? Let's get weird. What if you did like Alperen Şengün and Walker Kessler? Nick, not Americans. Well, Walker Kessler surely is an American. He's sneaky. He seems like he might be like a Canadian or something. I don't know what he is. He's either Canadian or he's from Utah or Montana. Just on a vibes thing. Somewhere where syrup is like a delicacy. And then Şengün is Turkish, so that wouldn't work. But there's maybe a fun mental exercise in and of itself. I am an NBA general manager. I am given the option to either have Joel Embiid or I can have Walker Kessler and Alperen Şengün. If that was a trade, you're getting fleeced if you get Joel Embiid, right? I'm actually asking. Please let me know. I believe so. Let's jump into today's show, ladies and gentlemen. It's the off season. The gears are spinning. And I was scrolling through YouTube this morning, and I saw a YouTube channel that I'm not familiar with. I had never seen them before. Let me actually pull it up in front of me. And they had a podcast come out. This channel called Wake and Jake. Never heard of these guys before. But they had the title of their video was "How many active Hall of Famers are there?" And they're an MLB podcast, so talking about in the MLB. And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting question. And I didn't fucking watch it, but shout out to those guys because I'm totally stealing that idea. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at every team in the Eastern Conference for today's episode, and then on Monday's episode, we'll do the Western Conference. So today, we're going to be looking at every team in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to be looking at the rosters, and I'm going to decide how many active Hall of Famers there are on each individual team. Okay? And we will be doing some maybe future prediction shit on the fly. By the way, I don't know what my own personal criteria is for the Hall of Fame. Because as we have all discussed, the Basketball Hall of Fame, it is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It is the Basketball Hall of Fame. Sucks. It's not good. You don't have to do that much to qualify for it. I'd argue like 60% of the dudes in there, men and women, are like, yeah, I guess. Maybe. But it's no MLB. It's no MLB Hall of Fame. What I love about the MLB... nope. Shut the hell up. Do the thing. Do the segment. Now, but the final thing I will say before we get into the segment is this is prime. I get 15 minutes into this and I punt. And then I slog through the rest of it and everybody has a bad time, okay? So I need to hold myself accountable. So maybe you can come back to this point if you've listened to the full episode, and you can leave a timestamp as to when it went off the rails and when you think I decided that this was not actually a good segment anymore. Who knows? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the Miami Heat. Who on the team is going to be a Hall of Famer? I feel pretty confident saying Jimmy Butler is going to be in the Hall of Fame. I feel pretty good about that. 0-2 in the NBA Finals, but I don't think that will ever be held against him. I think it's more about the fact that he got to 2 NBA Finals, the first of which being in the bubble, where we're all going to remember Game 5 Jimmy, even those of us who do not like him. And then to be a play-in team, and then to make it to the NBA Finals, even if they were always going to be cannon fodder, in every Doctor Strange timeline. They were always going to be food for Denver. It was still pretty cool that they got there. But you look over Jimmy's career, which at this point is like 12 years. And sorry, I went to the wrong thing, so I'm going to have to stall here for just a second. And the totals, Jimmy Butler has scored, we're going to round up a little bit, 15,000 points. He scored 15,000 points, which if you go, that's like Tim Hardaway, that's like Chauncey Billups points. And like, they're both in the Hall of Fame, so like that helps. Has 1,300 career steals. He's going to finish, what do you think, around 1,500 on his career? He's going to finish his career around 4,000 assists, probably get around maybe 6,000 rebounds. I just think he gets in there. You got 6 All-Star appearances and a guy who was the face of a sense of drive and determination that we hadn't really seen in the NBA since Kobe. like in a really authentic way. You know, in a way that you knew was real and was very palpable because he went out there and he motherfucking showed you it. You know what I mean? So he's going to be in there. But then you look at the rest of and then like Pat Riley's probably already in there, right? So I don't need to say him. Like Spoelstra is not in there, but like Spoelstra is going to be in there. You know, otherwise Bam Adebayo, I think maybe is the interesting one. I think what's going to end up hurting him is the defensive player of the year thing, because he's just never going to get one. He's never going to get one. If he was going to get one, he should have like stole it from Marcus Smart or Jaren Jackson, because the fact that it's going to be really weird, I think, and I don't know if this is how this is going to age, but I think it's going to be weird in like 10 years when we look back at the 2010s and like the early 2020s, like a 10 to 12 year stretch where it was a lot of Rudy Gobert. It was a lot of Giannis. And then there was just motherfucking Marcus Smart and Jaren Jackson Jr. There was never Bam Adebayo. And by the way, you know, the all of the aforementioned players still going to be a problem, but then you also throw Victor Wembanyama into the mix. And so Bam Adebayo is also not going to win a ring unless he's not playing in Miami at some point in his career. So, okay, right now he's at 7,500 points. He's at 1,700 assists. Wow, that's actually, I guess Bam can throw that shit around. We knew that. Cracking out around like 4,300 rebounds. I don't know. 3-time All-Star? Maybe, and was also, but I think then you also think about where he is in the pantheon. It's kind of a how do you phrase this? It's almost, there's some irony in the you know, you talk about him not being able to win a defensive player of the year because he's overshadowed by, you know, all of the players that I mentioned, the Giannis's, the Rudy Gobert's of the world. And then you also think about what his place is as like a mobile big, and the era of basketball that he thrived in and that he existed at the perfect time for. And, you know, how truly how good he was defensively, but how good he was as a playmaker as well. But then you just think about all the other centers in the NBA, all the other big men who are like good playmakers. And you're like, if you rattle off 5 of them, like you're going to name Bam Adebayo, but there's a chance that he's like the 5th one that you name. So I don't know. I think we're just going to go with Jimmy Butler. And you know what I should do is I should make an active list. So we're going to say Jimmy is the only one from Miami. No, that's not true, because we have to talk about Kevin Love. How did I not bring up Kevin Love? Oof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-time All-Star. Kevin Love has had kind of 2.5 careers. A little bit. He had that first stretch in Minnesota where he was this kind of, it was Charles Barkley that was the round mound of rebound, right? Well, that was kind of Kevin Love. Like, he was a little chonky boy. He's a little chonk meister when he was both at UCLA and when he was with Minnesota. But the motherfucker was grabbing 30 rebounds a game. He was awesome. And then he went to Cleveland, and they kind of just, I don't know, man. What I miss more than anything is the long-haired headband Kevin Love. You guys remember that, with like the really scruffy, really scraggly beard? Holy smokes. What a man. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, what a man. With those Cleveland Cavaliers. And then the second half of his career, when I say like his 2.5, the half of the career would be like doing a Richie Incognito. Who was the guy that he bullied? Shit, this joke just got murdered because he bullied Colin Sexton, and then went to Miami and was like bad, but then this year was like randomly, people were like, Kevin Love's 6th man of the year. What the fuck? What's going on? It actually like pretty compelling in games. And I remember there was one night where I was the one I was like, Kevin Love like actually playing in this game and knocking down shots, and everyone was like, you're the fucking casual. Like, yeah, Kevin Love's been doing this shit. I was like, I mean, I know, okay. But does Kevin Love make the Hall of Fame? I feel like I'm underselling this one, and for somebody who has always claimed to be like the huge Kevin Love girly, I'm not really doing him a huge service right now. I will say this about him: the best outlet passer of all time, pound for pound. If I have to do like Steve Nash versus Kevin Love outlet pass competition, I mean, it's Kevin Love. It's not close. You can throw LeBron in there too if you want, by the way. It's Kevin Love by a country mile. It's not close. Kevin Love. So on the strength of that, maybe. I'm going to put a little asterisk next to Kevin Love's name. I think maybe that's the way that we'll handle this one. We'll do Kevin Love, maybe. And then after that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the Washington Wizards. Now, I think this one's perhaps going to be a little bit on the quicker side. You want to have a conversation about Kuzma really quick? Like, just maybe. Maybe not specifically about Kuzma. I don't want to jump the shark here and, like, do the Western Conference thing. But if you did the exercise we're doing right now, how many active Hall of Famers are there in the whole Anthony Davis for the Lakers core saga? Anthony Davis is a Hall of Famer, unequivocally. And then after that, I'm not going to include whatever draft picks were involved because then it gets dicey and then I have to look shit up on the fly and I'm not going to do that. So just all the players. So Julius Randle, no. Hell no. I mean, I could actually see a world where he does. Just if he ends up, whatever team the Knicks end up trading him to, if it's somewhere desolate enough that he can score 20 to 25 on like 60 to 86 jabs a game, I could see it's entirely possible. Brandon Ingram, he'll have the most improved, which helps, which is cool. But the way that people have just kind of been like, meh, on him, what the hell's going on with him in the trade market? People are just not talking about Brandon Ingram anymore. Isn't it something to do with, there's something that that New Orleans like has to keep him. There's something going on that hasn't been. I haven't really looked into it too much, so I don't want to talk about it. But he didn't win a natty at Duke. I don't think he did, which would have been a big bump because that matters in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Again, not the NBA Hall of Fame. You can win a natty in college, and that shit matters. It's weird to me that Christian Laettner's not in there. I think it's weird that he's not in there. Okay, so Brandon Ingram probably not. Lonzo Ball, no. Josh Hart, no. Jeannie Buss. Probably. Just through virtue of the Laker name, family business, all that bullshit, all that jazz. Also, because hey, man, I don't need to sit here and lie and say that Jeannie Buss has been completely valueless for the Lakers organization. She has not been. And then, but that brings us to Kyle Kuzma as the last one, just to bring it back to the Wizards. No. But Rang's culture, right? The other one on here would be like Jordan Poole. I could see, well, the thing is with Jordan Poole or with Kyle Kuzma, if I want to do the thing where, because I think my bar is going to be 15,000 points, I think is where I can already tell that's where this is going to go. Both of those guys could do it. Both of those guys could do 15,000 points. Both of them NBA champions in their own right, by the way, different teams. So that's cool. Marvin Bagley, I don't need to, what am I doing? Can I throw out a weird one? If I had to throw out my first, maybe this guy of the show, Bilal Coulibaly. I'm going to, man, for how many of those like Swiss Army knife, this guy kind of does a lot of shit. Players have entered the league, have infiltrated the NBA seemingly every year. There are like 7 new ones. And Bilal Coulibaly sure is no exception. Just super quick twitched. I love him. Super young, super raw. That's it for the Wizards. I don't think any of them. Let's move on to the Toronto Raptors, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to say, Masai Ujiri. No, I don't even want to. There was a few years. Remember how volatile it was to just even say his name? Because if you said anything at all about Masai Ujiri, they were like, you mean the guy who traded for Kawhi Leonard? Are you talking about that fucking guy? The guy who traded for fucking Kawhi? Dumbass? You're like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I'm just looking up and down. Who do you want me to say? The most accomplished player that I can see off the top of my head is Kelly Olynyk, maybe. Davion Mitchell won a natty. Oh, holy shit. Well, and then Jared Butler also won a natty, and he was on the Wizards. I didn't say him. Him and Davion Mitchell on the same team at Baylor. Davion Mitchell, hell no. Bruce Brown, no. NBA champion. This is what, Scotty, I could have a real conversation about that. But Scotty Barnes is going to be a Hall of Famer. But then I'm going to be the same guy who's like, we're going to get to like Evan Mobley and fucking Cade, and I'm going to be like, the Hall of Famers, obviously, and Raptors fans are going to be like, huh? Start your own podcast and put Scotty Barnes in the Hall of Fame, if that's what you want to hear. Let's move on to the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid, does he make the Hall of Fame? Is this one kind of interesting? So he misses the first 2 years of his career, has a foot injury. Is an all-star by year 2, and then for the rest of his career, never misses it. So the only time Joel Embiid was not an all-star was his rookie year, which was technically his quote-unquote third year in the NBA, if we're using like Ben Simmons math. So, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-time all-star at age 29. And by this time, he's won, what, 1 MVP? 2 MVPs? Bad look for me right now that I'm blanking on this. I guess actually I have Basketball Reference right here. I could have totally lied. And so, yes, 1-time MVP. That's right. He finished second twice. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Point totals. This is where it gets interesting. He's already at 12,000. Joel Embiid already at 12,000 points. Up to 1,500 assists. 4,800 rebounds. We're going to get that up to 5,000 by next season. If we can get that up to like 85, that's the Hall of Fame. That's the Hall of Fame, right? He's been a 20-point-per-game scorer his entire career. At least 10-plus rebounds a game his entire career outside of his rookie year. And and then the physicality that he plays with. There's something about Joel Embiid, I think, that I don't know what it is about watching him in the postseason. I think maybe we talked about this a little bit during I don't remember what series it would have been. But it's something about Joel Embiid in the playoffs. I don't want to root for that fucking guy at all. But in the regular season, I'm like, there are a few players in the NBA who, you can say the thing, man, you just don't see anybody as dominant as them. And it's like you see Jokic go off and you say that. You see Giannis go off and you say that. And you see Embiid do that. And it's just a different level of, not to go back to using the same word, it's just a different level of physicality that you just don't see in the NBA. But there's also like a level of, there's not a fucking guy in the NBA who just ragdolls more than Embiid. And when he gets hurt, that you hold your breath longer. And gasp. You draw in more air from your gasp when he goes down than Joel Embiid. So that's going to be... And then, really kind of burying the lead here. Does this matter? Does it matter narratively for the Hall of Fame? I don't think it does, but let's talk about it. Just to see. Just to make sure. We just need to say it out loud. Does him being the face, more or less, of the process, like the last remaining piece of the process, mean anything? That era of the NBA and what the ramifications of it were, honestly? And the fact that it worked, right? Right? It worked. No, it didn't work. No, they didn't win a championship. No, it didn't work. Well, they drafted an MVP. Well, they didn't win a championship, but they did draft an MVP. So that's not nothing. So I guess it's contingent on what the definition is for you. For me, for the sake of this program, do I think the process worked? They tried to tank to get really good players that would lead them to a championship. What they did instead was tank. Got a few good players, one that was really, really good for a while, and then one that ended up being a little bitch and was like, I'm going to go play in Brooklyn, and then now I'm actually not going to play in Brooklyn. So it wasn't very nice of me to call Ben Simmons a bitch. Grammar, that was not nice at all. The word I was going to say it wasn't... I censored it anyways. That's right. I forgot. I bleeped it out, so you guys didn't even hear me say it anyways, so it doesn't matter. So, okay, so this is... anyways, record scratch freeze frame moment right there. So the Sixers drafted a bunch of good players and then didn't win a championship, but like had sustained success, are still having sustained success, by the way, with the main guy that they... That's what pisses me off. That's what I love so much about... We talked last week about the DeMar DeRozan trade to Sacramento. There's nothing wrong with just like being really good for like 10 years. I know that sounds dumb because you're like, obviously, but we kill teams. Like Philadelphia, because it's like, oh, the process didn't work because they didn't win a championship. It's like, yeah, but they've been really good for not quite 10 years. I mean, we're about 10 years removed from the process being a thing, right? Been really good for like 6 years. And how many of you are out there rooting for a bad team right now that would give anything for the success that Philadelphia has had over the last few years, regardless of the fact that they haven't made it to the NBA Finals? You'd like to at least... So, I don't know. But does he make it to the Hall of Fame is the question. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think. A guy averaging 28 and 11 for his career. I don't think there's going to be too much question there. Andre Drummond, do you guys want to have that discussion at all? Is it worth having the discussion? Maybe it's worth even looking up where he is in the all-time rebound lists for this. All-time NBA. I'm not cutting this out. This is the coping hour. Everything stays in the show. I'm actually going to cut this out, and we're going to cut to when I have the list. What? Andre Drummond is 36th all-time in rebounds. What? He's got 10,000. He's above DeAndre Jordan at this point. He will always be above DeAndre Jordan. He has more than Ben Wallace, which is cool. He's under Jack Sikma. He's under LeBron, by the way. He's under Powell. He's 36th. He's 36th. Dirk, Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley. What the hell? I feel like I've been... Whoa, this is a really weird moment for me. I feel like I'm like getting out of... I feel like I'm... This is like... I feel like I'm in the fish tank and I've realized I'm in the Truman Show. What the hell? Gun to my head. If you would have said, how many rebounds does Andre Drummond have? At least 15,000. At least 15,000. What's the most all-time? How wrong was it? The most all-time is 23,000 from Wilt Chamberlain. So if he had 15,000, where would he be? He would be in between Tim Duncan and Karl Malone. He'd be at like number 8. Which is honestly what I think. If I told you, person listening to this, if I said very confidently Andre Drummond was the 8th highest rebounding player in the history of the NBA. If I said that confidently, would you flinch? You probably wouldn't. He's 36th. I spent how many years calling into radio shows talking about, no, you don't know what you're talking about Andre Drummond. You don't know how many Player of the Month awards he has. What are you talking about? Those rebounds don't grab themselves. Those like, and those, oh my God, man. Andre Drummond will go 0 for 5 on one possession because he just keeps tipping his own shit and it just never goes in. Just never goes in. Which, by the way, is also why he has so many fucking rebounds. Because he just keeps tapping that shit and he just keeps grabbing it, throwing it back up, grabbing it, throwing it back up. But by the way, only has 10,000. Which might have been in one season with how many times he fucking dinks and dunks around the rim. Not even 10th all time in rebounds. Not making the Hall of Fame. Andre Drummond not making the Hall of Fame. That's outrageous. I hope everybody is as upset about this as I am because this is very real. I'm shocked about this. I thought Andre Drummond... Eric Gordon would be kind of a fun one to see in the Hall of Fame, just on the merit of him winning. I mean, it had to have been, at least 3 Sixth Man of the Year awards? Bullshit. Eric Gordon only won 1 Sixth Man of the Year award. Hell no. And he finished second in 2017, 2018. Don't even fucking tell me. Don't even tell me that, who would have won that year without even looking? It was probably fucking Lou Williams. Let's look it up. I can click the thing right here, can I? What is this for? Sixth Man of the Year? Rookie of the Year, All-NBA. Basketball Reference in your fucking racket. It all stays in the show. It just keeps scrolling back up to the top. I'm going to jump off a fucking bridge. We're going to cut to when I find where Sixth Man of the Year is. It was fucking Lou Williams. It was fucking Lou Williams. How many did he win? It was probably 3, wasn't it? If Lou Williams won like 1, you'll never hear from me again. Do not let me scroll. Honestly, the number is 3. He won at least 3. Lou Williams 100% won at least 3 Sixth Man of the Year awards. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Thank God. Thank God. He finished on the ballot, by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Jesus Christ. Although one of these he finished 14th. One of them he finished 10th. That shit does not count, by the way. That shit does not count. Eric Gordon only won 1 Sixth Man of the Year. That's not true. Okay, so who's another player? Well, Nick, will you do a prediction about Tyrese Maxey? No, this is going to be a long show. This is going to be a really long show. I don't want to keep you guys too long. Let's do the Orlando Magic. Let's do a team that I think, honest to God, since apparently I'm feeling like sassy and confrontational, the worst vibes in the NBA on this team. Hate them. Hate the vibes. Bad vibes. Because who do you want me to say? Oh, you want me to say Jonathan Isaac? Jalen Suggs? Hell no. Although Basketball Hall of Fame, Final Four, Most Outstanding Player, won a national championship. No, they didn't win that year. Yes, they did. They didn't. So all it takes is him winning an NBA championship and What I don't know. Maybe we have to talk about it. Paulo is the one that I would actually talk about on this team because I hate how much of a bucket he is. Some of it is because I don't know how much, dude. It's weird when you watch a guy like Jokic and you're like, that's a big fucking dude. Like, that's a lot of weight to move around. Embiid, we're talking about him. Embiid's another guy you move that much weight around. But, like, somehow they make it look reasonable. And they're bigger, which is weird. Paulo, which, by the way, 250 my ass, by the way, at least 280. I don't know. Well, I guess they wouldn't lie backwards. They wouldn't lie backwards about that. They wouldn't lie about weights backwards. I don't think. It's not like, no. But he's another dude. He's just fucking huge. He moves around like he's LaMarcus Aldridge. How do you like that one? Try that one on for size. Chew on that one a little bit. Paulo Banchero moves around. And honestly, sneaky, hoops like him too. Because if you really remember LaMarcus Aldridge when he was hooping in Portland like 15 years ago, the dude was a walking 15-footer. I mean, what the hell? I don't think Paulo is that far off. And I think it would benefit him to stay with Orlando for his entire career because I think that sneaky matters for your Hall of Fame case. I think your place in the pages of history, it's not just about the NBA, it's about with a franchise too. And how you are remembered and how you are immortalized. And it also gives him more opportunity to build more like a bigger Rolodex of moments, capital M moments with the Orlando Magic. Because we've had a few so far. But yeah, Paulo, I'll give the Magic that one. Honestly, because we haven't done, I don't think anybody. We said Kevin Love maybe was the last one. How do you like this one? We're going to say Paulo. Not even a maybe. I think we're just going to put Paulo in there. Anthony Black is bad. Cole Anthony, don't like him. KCP, love him. Mo Wagner, bad. Gary Harris, Spartan Dog, love him. Goga, love Goga. All right, folks, let's move on. Imagine fucking that the Orlando Magic were the ones that they were the next ones to get one on the board. Moving on to the New York Knicks. New York Knicks. Mikal Bridges. Playing in games. What's the precedent for that? What's the precedent for how many games? Because he's played in 474. He's played in 474, which doesn't actually feel like that. Maybe he hasn't been in the NBA for that long. But this, no, I don't need to entertain this one for too long, Nick. He's not, I mean, he might get to 15,000 points, although he could have, I think no, I don't want to speak on Tim Hardaway because I don't know shit about him other than like what his stats are. I'm not talking about Junior, by the way. I've mentioned him a few times. I'm not talking about Junior when I bring up. I would say Junior. I'm talking about his dad because I was gonna say like 15,000 points is 15,000 points, and I guess it feels like that happening 25 years ago, a player scoring 15,000 points meant more, but especially with where scoring is in the NBA in 2024, even with the slight decline that we saw post All-Star break. Whatever Adam Silver put in the water, it worked. The refs were cracking down on shit, and it worked. And scoring did go down in the NBA. 15,000 points though, maybe isn't the benchmark that I should be using. But I got to be consistent. So because of that, Mikal Bridges fucking might be in the Hall of Fame. We already talked about I'm not actually putting him on the list, by the way. Julius Randle, no. Jab, 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 jab. No. Mitchell Robinson. If you asked me 5 years ago, yes. If you asked me 5 years ago about Mitchell Robinson and DeAndre Ayton, I would have said both of them were in the Hall of Fame. When DeAndre Ayton got drafted, I had like shirt ideas because I was so sure that he was going to be the reason that we sort of pivot back to this traditional center. You think that was maybe some Andre Drummond copium at the time? Maybe. And so my idea for DeAndre Ayton was DeAndre Ayton revive the five. How has that one aged? Medium. It's aged pretty medium. Not medium. It's aged fucking bad. It's aged fucking bad, dude. What are you talking about? Don DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Miles McBride, OJ Anunoby. No. None of them. But what about Brunson? I think if the Knicks win a championship, here's the take. If the Knicks win a championship, Jalen Brunson is a Hall of Famer. Chew on it. Because of how many of the voters are probably Knicks fans, first of all. And then when you talk about culturally what the significance of that is, and then you're going to say, so Nick, are you motherfucking telling me that if the Knicks would have won in the 90s, that John Starks would have been a Hall of Famer? No, because he wasn't the best player. Sillyhead, that was Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing is a Hall of Famer. Didn't need the rings. Jalen Brunson might, though. Maybe. Give me a few more years of this. Give me 2 more years of this for sure. For sure. Because I'm super for sure with Jalen Brunson, but I just need to be mega, ultra, really, really, all right, okay, cool, for sure. You know what I mean? And if the Knicks win a championship, he's their best player. So that's why I say the best player wins. So, okay. So, all right. So, Jalen Brunson, we're going to say yes, just because we love him. And maybe just for this, for posterity's sake, only at 7,000 points, 2,000 assists, 1,300 rebounds. How the fuck is he supposed to make the Hall of Fame with this bullshit? No, I'm going with my gut. We are going with Jalen Brunson. Just to do a recap of what we got so far, ladies and gentlemen, that's Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love maybe, Paolo Banchero, and Jalen Brunson. And this now brings us to the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, so let's just do it. I don't need to. Giannis next. Giannis. Okay. Love him. He's my king. Flip-flops from being my favorite player in the league to my top 6 favorite player in the league. Okay? He's always somewhere in that ranking. He's always somewhere in there. So he's in there. Damian Lillard. Wow. Whoa, wait a second. Yes. Yes? Has to be, right? I mean, he did score 71. He is at 21,000 points. 5,600 steals, sorry. 3,500 rebounds. How many made threes does he have? Probably a couple thousand. Oh, yeah, nothing crazy. Just 2,600. Yeah, Damian Lillard's getting in the Hall of Fame. Give me some pause there. The real one that I should be thinking about. Oh, damn, I don't know. So Chris Middleton probably... No. Well, Michael Redd got in, right? Recently, Michael Redd got in. So if Michael Redd can get in, then Chris Middleton can get in. It's the same picture, .jpg. So, okay, yeah, cool. Holy shit, the Bucks have 3 Hall of Famers? Let me write this down really quick. Giannis, Dame, Chris, and then this is the one I really want to talk about. I just want to do a mental exercise. Brook Lopez. Stop. Hold on. Stop. Don't skip. Stop. Hold on. Brook Lopez. Let's talk about it. He did hit the most 3-pointers of any 7-footer ever in a single season, ever. I think maybe it's been broken since, but I don't remember even what season it was. Maybe I can look at it. Maybe I can pick up some context clues by looking at it here. I believe it was 2018, 2019 Brook Lopez when the motherfucker was shooting 6.5 threes a game. I mean, he's made 2 all-defensive teams in the last couple of years. Really reinvented himself with Milwaukee in a super major way. I always grew up hating him, and you forget that Brook Lopez he's also the highest scoring player in Nets history, right? New Jersey / Brook, he's the highest scoring player ever. Duh. Of course that motherfucker gets in the Hall of Fame. Whoa. Wait. Whoa. Brook Lopez gets in the Hall of Fame? Most threes of any 7-footer in a single season ever, 2018, 2019. And the most points of any New Jersey / Brooklyn net ever. Also NBA champion, by the way. Ever fucking heard of him? Also has a twin brother. Brook Lopez is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and the Milwaukee Bucks have 4 Hall of Famers on their team. Have you guys thought about this like this? I feel like there's been in the last 10 minutes, there's been 4 revelations, really 4 huge what the hell moments. I'm actually blown away that doing this mental exercise in real time just to frame it this way, that the Bucks have 4 Hall of Famers. That's hilarious. All right. Okay. So that's Giannis, Dame, Chris, and Brook. Let's move on to the next team. That was your Milwaukee Bucks. Now the Atlanta Hawks. Do I want to be a hater? Hater? Yeah, no. I don't think any of these guys. I don't think any of them. Because we could do the Trae Young thing. my hardest zag, we talked about Mitchell Robinson. If you asked me a couple years ago about Bruno Fernando, if you asked me a couple years ago about him, we would have had a couple beers, and I would have been like, future of the NBA. And if we do the Trae Young thing, I give him credit. 3-time All-Star coming out of Oklahoma. Everybody was doing the Steph Curry thing. I hated him. I didn't believe in him. I always thought he was annoying. I thought his hair sucked. It's really just and I always hate saying this because it's really disrespectful, but I just think he's ugly. He's just one of those. I just think he's ugly, and so I'm just like, I just don't think you're a good-looking guy. Just don't think you're a good-looking dude. Whereas like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, very easy to root for. A Jason Tatum, very easy to root for. A Jaren Jackson, very easy to root for. Some handsome fellas. But then there's Trae Young, and you're like, It's really a shame that the picture of the sucker with like the hair stuck to it, you know what I'm talking about, that people always do for like Trae Young's hair. It's really too bad that meme got overused fucking immediately, because it's so funny. Because it really still is, it is funny, but I'm never going to laugh whenever somebody does it, because I'm like, yeah, like, haha, we've been there. So, no. And then if you asked me going into the Dyson Daniels draft, I would have said Dyson Daniels has big-time two-way, not two-way, more like big-time Tony Allen Hall of Fame potential. But that was lofty for him. Dyson Daniels was never going to be a Tony. That's not fair. So, okay, we move on to the Indiana Pacers. TJ McConnell, that would be really funny to get one in there. A funny, maybe B story to this whole thing would be NBA players most likely to start like an extremist militant group. And just maybe make like a scenario of what there's a conflict in the United States. I don't know. There's a civil war in the United States, and people are making separatist groups. Because I was just thinking of like James Johnson, and he would probably do some like kung fu shit, like some real hand-to-hand, like some really scary dudes that you don't want to mess with at all. I think people's brains would say Kyrie. But I would challenge them. Maybe in a Charles Manson role, but I think he's too passive, and I think he would probably stay away. Pat Riley would be one to look out for. That dude would be like fucking Yevgeny Prigozhin. Oh my God. Pat Riley as Yevgeny Prigozhin in an American Civil War is really what I would be. So Danny Ainge would be a fucking asset. Whatever side that Danny Ainge is like postured to be performing for, right, acting on the behalf of, he's actually an agent for the opposite, is what Danny Ainge would be. Joe Mazzulla would be really scary under these circumstances. You really, like a true wild card, you don't know what that guy's going to do. Who's another player? Like, I know that, guys like Thanasis and Giannis would flee. They would go home. I know there's go home. They don't live it. They would go to Greece. They'd go somewhere else. But I would love to see what Thanasis Antetokounmpo looks like riling a bunch of dudes up, like hitting a bunch of smelling salts. And doing like some disruptive activism. Not like bombs and shit, but like something really disruptive. Something like crazy. Like you stand in front of traffic and you make everybody nervous or something like that. I don't know. It's something crazy, Thanasis. Do something crazy. Although I did say extremist militant group. So it would probably be more like bombs and shit. And I don't want to put that on Thanasis Antetokounmpo. I don't want to say that to him. So I'm not going to put that on anybody. Nobody in the NBA bombs anything. Except Miles Bridges. Except Miles Bridges. My heart, as a matter of fact. So he returns to the Hornets on like a 3-year, was it $70 or $80 million deal? And there were some reports that had come out like within the last few weeks. I don't know if you out there at home, folks, are dialed in on all this Miles Bridges gossip out there, reading all the damn tea leaves. I'm starved for information. Where's he going? Because he fell off the Pistons' radar. We did the Tobias thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so the Miles thing didn't happen. Is it going to happen for anybody? This is what I'm trying to say. There's reports coming out. Miles Bridges like interested in the Clippers because Steve Ballmer gives dudes second chances. And I was like, he does? And then someone reminded me, they were like Josh Primo and Kevin Porter Jr. I was like, oh my God. And then also James Harden for he got like an 8th chance. That counts. That's not nothing. So then I immediately was like, wow, I don't think that was leverage. I don't think that was smoke. I think he actually maybe the Clippers were like, hey, maybe we can do this. We're losing Paul George. I mean, maybe we can do this, right? I'm saying all of this to say, damn, he did end up getting paid. Wow, after all, wow. It was significantly less than what he would have gotten paid before he beat the shit out of his girlfriend. But Miles Bridges did get paid after all. But everybody out there, chill on my guy. I don't like this joke anymore. I'm going to move on. We were still on the Pacers, by the way. I think I saw James Johnson's name, and that's why Miles Turner. We did a whole damn segment on him. Go back and watch the episode. It's maybe like 2 months ago. It's in the title of the episode. It's like Miles Turner jersey retirement for the Pacers. We did a whole thing about him, and we ended up settling on definitely, absolutely Miles Turner is getting... If he doesn't get his jersey retired by the Pacers, he will be in some sort of a ring of honor that they do. Whenever Bankers Life Fieldhouse gets demolished and they do something new, whatever it is, he'll be in there. But I don't know. Benedict Mathurin is the pick that you all want me to say right here. I'm gonna zag. Did somebody order extra medium zag? Yeah, that's me right here. Andrew Nembhard. Does he get into and hold on and stay with me. I did just say Andrew Nembhard. Does he get in as the Robert Horry, this motherfucker just shows up in the playoffs and hits the biggest shots that you've ever seen in your life? That you've ever seen in your life. So much so that you're like, who the hell is he again? Who is he? Because Andrew Nembhard in the playoffs this year, I don't know, he just did what I said. He hit all of the biggest shots that you've ever seen in your life. And he made you go, what? And he made you go, huh. So maybe, and then Tyrese Halliburton is probably maybe what I would probably maybe make a definitive statement, Nick. 2-time All-Star, Sacramento trade, one of the crazier ones that I can remember in recent years just on how it made me feel in real time. You talk about a guy's legacy being validated by a championship. I think Tyrese Halliburton is somebody, especially with a team. It would have been the case actually with the Kings or Indiana. I think both teams are in this same position. If you bring them a championship and you're the guy to do it, what that means to that region is so significant that you have to reward them for it. And so, I don't know. What if Halliburton wins a ring? He's not gonna. Not with Indiana. So, we're not gonna say anybody for the Pacers. Nesmith, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam, James Wiseman, Okay. We move on. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell. I don't want to do any of these guys. I don't want to do any of these because I don't believe it. Although Evan Mobley will probably get into the Hall of Fame. Jared Allen could get into the Hall of Fame. Dean Wade could have gotten into the Hall of Fame if he was Ryan Anderson and it was 13 years ago. How's that for a take? How's that one? Ty Jerome sucks. Actually is bad. He's bad. He's not good. Sam Merrill, good. Evan Mobley, I want to talk about that. He's going to the Hall of Fame. We're going to pencil him in, and I just need to figure out how I'm going to get there. He's already at 3,000 points after 3 seasons. 1,700 rebounds, ladies and gentlemen. How many made threes does he have? At least 500, I bet. He's got 67. He's got 67 made threes. He's attempted 253. I don't know. He's got a long way. He's gonna have a bit of a big long career. He's gonna have a big long career. Now we move on to the Boston Celtics. This is where shit gets fucking weird. Derek White, does he get into the Hall of Fame? Wait. Well, no. They can't all get in. Because it can't be... Well, can it? I was going to say it can't be Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and Drew Holiday. Why? Why can't it be all of them? Why can't Kristaps Porzingis also be in there? Stop, dude. Just focus on one person for now. You also didn't say Al Horford. So the Jays are going to get in. Like, I don't want to do that. Or they're going to get in. Probably. They're going to get in. But Drew is easy to say because of Milwaukee. So Drew Holiday, I think, is the one that we can actually be the most sure of. And you think about even the moments that he's been a part of outside of the championship ones through the lob, the greatest lob of all time, by the way. But you also think about when he was with New Orleans and they swept and upset Portland in the first round, and they just ran a damn, not a box and one. Is that what they did on Dame? They just doubled and trapped the shit out of him for 4 games? That was it? Are the Celtics really about to have Derek White, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford? Kristaps Porzingis is not getting it. The dude's not going to be in the NBA in 3 years. His body's not going to, he's going to give up on him. Al Horford's going to get in because of his longevity. He's 38 years old. He's still kicking. Despite what you may hear from Mike Breen, Al Horford is still breathing. Despite what Jason Tatum tried to fake news his way around in the post game during the finals, Al Horford is alive. But he's a 5-time All-Star. He's now an NBA champion. And by the way, didn't he win 2 at Florida in college? He was at least on one of those teams. So Al Horford, welcome to the Hall of Fame. So we're going to do the Jays because I don't want to have the conversation. I just think they're going to get in. I don't really want to. I didn't even talk about the fact that people are wondering if it was Jason Tatum that was like, Jaylen Brown shouldn't be on that because, I'm Jason Tatum and I can't fucking celebrate at the All-Star game. I can't celebrate winning the Eastern Conference Finals, and I can't celebrate winning the Finals either because you win all of the cool shit. Well, guess what? I get to go to the Olympics and you don't, bitch. That's what people are saying. Not me. Not me on this show. I'm just relaying it to you because that's what we do. We cover all the biggest stories and we cover them from all angles. We on this program, 90% of the time, are pro keeping the Jays together. Because, like, what happens if they break up? Like, what do you get out of that? Then what do you talk about? Then what do you say about Boston? You're going to fucking hate that. You don't want that. You don't want that shit at all. So, okay, let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jays. No, I'm not putting in Derek White. Knock that shit off. Al Horsford. Al Horford and Drew Holiday. Now it's Brooklyn. Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, Bogdanovich, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton. If I had to talk myself into any of them, Cam Thomas would get in because he's going to score like 17,000 points in his career. I don't even fucking believe that. Don't even know why I said that. Chicago Bulls. Is this worth doing? I don't think this is worth doing. That's not worth doing. I'm not doing the Bulls. And then last but not least, because I'm not doing the Pistons, because Cade's going to get in and then everybody else can fuck off. I don't care. The Charlotte Hornets. I'll do the Charlotte Hornets, but I won't do the Pistons. That's it. I'm not doing any of these guys. You're out of your mind. Okay, so that was the segment, I guess, then. That's because that's all the teams. And then I guess we do have to write Cade at the bottom. So here are all the players, ladies and gentlemen, I guess in the Eastern Conference that are future Hall of Famers. You heard it here first at the Coping Hour. Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, maybe. Paolo Banchero, Jalen Brunson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Brooke Lopez, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, and Cade Cunningham. Those are the future Hall of Famers in the Eastern Conference that are currently playing. That one didn't go so bad. That's not a bad list because at first I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, where's LeBron and all those guys? I forgot. We're doing that on Monday. We're going to do that on Monday. And in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some emails while we wrap up the show. copingoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email will always be available in the description wherever it is that you listen to the show. So without further ado, as I open the email, we got an email 2 minutes ago. So this is like as blind of a read as you guys want to do that. You want to do this? Email comes into us from Christian. Christian, there's a lot of if this email is bad, I'm going to be upset. Subject line, creativity and content. Christian, welcome to the show. Hey, Nick, I forget which episode of the pod this would have been, and I'm a bit shaky on the details, but you were talking about creating content and the hurdles involved, and specifically that starting out can be difficult, and the challenges you faced as you've grown as a person and as a creator, and that it's been worthwhile for yourself as a person. This whole pod really inspired me a while back to truly start devoting a few hours a day to... Are you plugging your shit? Is that what this is? Where's the invoice? Is there an invoice attached to this? No, that's the YouTube link. This is a thank you that. All right. Well, when I'm done being a character and the show's over, I'll listen to this. I'll listen to this and maybe I'll respond to it. But on the show, live right now, I'm fucking mad, Christian. I'm mad because you had an opportunity that you didn't even know that you had. You had the opportunity to captivate me, to grab my attention. I could play this shit right now into the microphone. I could, and I could give you an authentic first reaction. But then I know no matter how much even if I actually end up liking it, I'm just going to be an asshole. I'm just going to be an asshole because this email didn't end with like, oh, fucking, hey, the second apron is a boogeyman and, oh, we should weekend at Bernie's, Adam I don't know, something nuts, a little brain teaser, something for me to go nuts over. It's a YouTube, it's a hyperlink. It's a hyperlink. Christian, I'll listen to this when we're done recording this. Don't worry. Hey, let's do this one, though, from Tom. Tom, welcome back to the show. Those of you maybe unfamiliar with Tom, he's a regular emailer here at the Coping Hour. He's always on vacation, and he's always in the bathroom. I would love for this guy, for as much as he fucking emails the show and is on vacation with his girlfriend, would love for them to visit Chicago, first of all. Come to Chicago, dude. That being said, I'm telling you right now, if you come to Chicago, the odds of me seeing you are not... the odds of me actually seeing you are non-zero. I might, but probably not. But if you're like, hey, come, your entire family can come with us on one of these vacations. Tom, I'll come with you. I can convince my family to come with you. My girlfriend and our son. We will do that if you guys are paying. So I appreciate that. Anyways, Tom, subject line. Why can't we have nice things as fans? Hey, Nick, hope all is well. Currently in Phoenix. Yes, I'm on vacation. Yes, I'm with my girlfriend. Yes, I'm on the toilet. I was thinking about the DeMar DeRozan trade, and I ultimately was pondering the question, what is the lifespan of the, oh, fuck, he's on my team moment in the modern NBA? I feel like this transcends basketball to a degree, especially in the modern super team era we live in across all major leagues team sports. I feel like there have been so many moves, especially this offseason, where guys who you would associate with one or two teams move around and create their own versions of the Raptors Olajuwon photo. The post-Wizards Westbrook era is going to be remembered as the same .jpeg as that Olajuwon photo where you think, wow, he was on the Rockets? This also may happen with the Mavs Clay, depending on how it turns out. What do you think the lifespan is for the excitement of these important... Oh, my God, Nick. What do you think the lifespan is for the excitement of these important guys getting traded, and how long do you think it takes for these trades to age poorly? I don't know, man. Tom, thanks for the email. I'm one of those people who... I get really excited when, we get to see somebody in a new jersey, especially when they change numbers. Like Paul George switching his number to 8, and to your point, Clay switching to 31. That's the type of offseason shit that I want. That's the shit that I'm looking for. I would have, if Klay Thompson switched his number to 31 while he was with Golden State, we would have done an hour and a half on it, on this program. Same thing about Paul George. Imagine if Paul George, do you remember when Paul George changed his number to 13 in Indiana? Remember when he was 24 and everybody was like, how cool would it be if his number was 13 and he could be PG-13? And he was like, that would be fucking sick, actually. And he changed his number. Dude, 15-year-old me was like, dude, that rips. That rips, Paul George. That rips, PG-13. You're so fucking cool. And then he was like, check this out. And he was with Team USA, and he was like doing cartwheels and shit. And then he fucking snapped his leg in the stanchion. And I was like, Paul George is never going to walk again. And that was like 2013. That's a long time ago. It was a long time ago. How did we... Oh, yeah, we were talking about numbers. See, I got back. I almost lost myself there, but we got back to it. It is harder to... What's the phrase here? I'm a little desensitized to it now to a degree because of how much player movement there is, because you just see teams having to retool so often, whether it's signing guys to short-term deals. And this isn't exclusive to the NBA. The NFL is like this too. You sign dudes to short-term deals, or you're just wheeling and dealing and you're making trades. And so guys just don't stick around that long. The average, and I don't know, I would be interested to see how much this has actually changed, because I wonder if this is like a placebo thing, and it's actually, the data would suggest, I didn't like that I said data. The data would suggest that 35 years ago, the average player spent, what do you think, 4.5 to 6 years with one team? That seems, 6 years seems like a lot. 3.5 to 4.5 years with a team. What do you think that is now? What do you, I don't know. I bet it's like 2.5. With one team, 2.5. Definitely. Especially the contending teams. Especially, the Golden States of the world when they had their run. Boston, all these teams, the Lakers are the biggest example of this, honestly. Phoenix, the teams who have so much money tied up in like a handful of guys, like 2 fucking guys, 3 guys, and everything else just has to be like mid-level on the margins. Like, those are the teams that you see, especially just with new faces constantly. So I don't know. I mean, I think we get over it. I guess maybe I'm not answering the question properly. I get over it quicker these days. The wow factor of it. If Shohei Ohtani went to the Dodgers in 2007, I might not have gotten over it until 2012. Do you know what I mean? But in 2024, in 2023 is when he went, I think. I don't remember if it was like December, when exactly the month it was that he went, Okay, but in 2024, I'm over it in a month. It took about a month because we didn't see pictures of him immediately. All we had were like edits, and that's not the same shit. So until we actually saw him doing a presser, however long it took, right? That's when I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, even seeing it now is still fun. I mean, watching the Dodgers games, folks, I'm still dialed into the Dodgers every now and then. Still seeing him is exciting, but I think this is an interesting point. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up today's show. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Hope this episode went well. Thank you all very much for listening. You all mean the world to me. Hey, Spotify is adding comments. Did you guys see that? Fuck. Well, that's actually exciting because your comments that you guys leave on there will actually be public now. And I believe I'll be able to reply to them. So I don't know. I don't think the feature has been deployed yet. I don't know when we're expecting that. I don't know if it's getting pushed soon or what, but that is happening. So, alrighty, folks, if you are listening to this on Spotify, be sure to rate 5 stars. If you're listening to this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful, beautiful.